Welcome to the new normal of Truth Site TV. I am Nilantha Ilangamuva. Today we are going to discuss about Myanmar. Myanmar gained independence from British in 1948. The country was known as the Asia's rice bowl. The first prime minister of the country was U Nu. He ruled the country twice, faced a lot of political turbulence. My guest today is a daughter of U Nu. She is a founding member of the Democratic Party of Myanmar. Daw Tan Than Nu, joining by me from her home in Yangon, Myanmar. Welcome to the show. Daw Tan Than Nu, welcome to the new normal of Truth Site TV.
Thank you very much.
What is your earliest memory of your father?
I was born in 1947 and I was brought up very simple. We are just like the common family. He is very devoted and very pious to Buddhism, and then he also make us very religious family, as a religious family. He was always busy with his political works, and he didn't even have much time for us.
Yeah, but when I was reading some stories about late Prime Minister U Nu, it said he was not interested about joining politics. But
Yes.
General Aung San was the person. He is the father of Council Aung San Suu Kyi. He is the person who asked him to join politics.
They met in university in Yangon, in Rangoon, and then they were very, very close, even like brothers. So General Aung San always wanted my father to be with him in the politics, in the activities. So he always persuaded my father not to remain with them, because they were in university together, and then this university boycott started by my father and his colleagues, including General Aung San.
Yes.
And then after that, though he said he did not want to be in politics, but till his death, he always within this circle, within the political circle.
So, what are the lessons you have learned from your father?
My father always taught me, especially to me, I have to say that to be very honest. And then in politics also, you have to be very honest, and then one has to be very disciplined.
Well, then your father was prime minister in newly independent Burma. Don't you think that your father made a mistake by giving him power voluntarily to be the prime minister or to be the leader to General Navin? So don't you think it was a mistake by your father?
No, I don't think like that, because even if he didn't give the power, and this power, he gave just only with his own wish, because it's a decision by the parliamentarian. Even if if he didn't give the power, he will have this coup d'etat. So my father didn't want to have this kind of, because he thinks that it is very democratically also it is not good for the country.
Okay, and then in 1960, as you pointed out, he won the elections. He won the majority of the parliament. Therefore, he formed the government. And then, unfortunately, the real coup d'etat was happened in 1962. where your father was ousted from the prime ministership.
From 62, he was put behind bars. From 62 till 66.
Okay.
He left the country only in 69, along with me, and with my mother also, and my brother also.
Okay. First, you went to India.
India, yes, for his medical checkup.
Okay.
Because Mrs. Indira Gandhi came here in 68. She invited after seeing my father's health, and then she invited for the medical checkup. That was in 69.
Yeah, then you went to India, and then along with your father, there
Yes.
you stayed till 2003. So how was your life in India?
My husband and myself, we worked together in All India Radio, and then it was okay because nothing happened till after passing away of Mr. Rajiv Gandhi, and then when Mr. Rajiv Gandhi passed away, the bureaucrats stopped me from broadcasting.
You remain in India. Where was your father, the former prime minister? Where was he then?
No, first, from 69 we left, and then we were in India. And after 6 months, we left for Thailand.
Okay.
Thailand. And then in Thailand, we remained there till 1974 in Thailand. And only after that, we returned back to India along with my parents.
Okay.
Because we left. My father left for Thailand because he wanted to lead this revolution against the military junta.
In 1970s, there was some reports indicate that even the U.S. secret agencies agent, like CIA's agent, were helping your father to raise some money to establish the political party. So, does it true?
No.
Okay, then they said this the CIA officer was helping your father to establish the political party named this United National Liberation Front, and but by the end of 1970s they had gained more than 2 million USD to establish this political party. That's what is some reports said. So what's your opinion about that?
At that time, this my father's nature, because he
if my statement is not clear, let me quote that exact portion in the source where I found it. UNO then used former Central Intelligence Agency known as CIA official Bill Young to help him raise international funding for founding the United National Liberation Front UNLF. By the end of 1970, they had garnered more than 2 million US dollar.
I don't know about those things because that time I was quite young, and then my father never discussed with us.
Right.
But that was partly it was true that my father had to ask from many countries and from many people for funding, because without funding we can't do anything.
What are the countries help him during his exile period?
That also I don't know exactly, but he went to America, he went to UK, and then he went even to Cambodia also.
During first term of your father as the Prime Minister, the Burma was known as the Asia's rice bowl. But now the Burma is one of the poorest nation in the world. What happened to Burma? Who are the culprits of this entire destructions of a nation which was one time is one of the best nation in the world?
If I have to say like this, if something happened to our country, if something happened, everyone wants to blame to my father because of him. even now you said, because your father gave the power to General Ne Win. It started, this all the problems started from that time. But we can't blame only to him also, because this. But the people, even the present leaders, the leaders in my country, when they wanted to point out about their own country, the prosperity, and then about that you said about the rice bowl of Asia, and then at that time, even the Southeast Asian countries, they have to look upon Burma, in education, in health program, and about the building, even the building of the universities and the teaching methods. They all have to look upon us.
Right.
Those days, they have to refer to that before 1962. Before 1962, but before 1962, who ruled the country? I don't mean that only my father ruled the country, because he has a teamwork. Their teamwork is very strong. So why did they refer before 1962? Our country is very this and very that. Even yesterday, when the Aung San Suu Kyi gave some talk on the TV. She mentioned about that, not about my father, but she said at that time in 1962, before 1962, why did they mention about that 1962? And then if they wanted to blame, because our country is very poor, and then the military rule since 62 because of UNU. So it's not fair.
About this 4/8 crisis, 88 crisis. So that is one of the the politically speaking, that was one of the landmark in your country's history. And during that time, your father had a plan to launch, the plan to initiate an interim government. Even the Rajiv Gandhi was in favor of it, but unfortunately, the council Aung San Suu Kyi was categorically denied about your father's plan to establish interim government. Does it mean Aung San Suu Kyi was not in favor about your father?
Not interim government. My father wanted to form the parallel government.
Okay.
Parallel government, parallel to the military junta, because he thought that was the only only thing that it can be, it could overcome the crisis. But at that time, many organizations and many countries, foreign countries, supported my father's decision. But some people from our own country, they didn't agree with my father, because their idea was that one day the military junta would invite them to form the government. So they were waiting and waiting and waiting. They said after 72 hours, the military junta will call them. And then later on, 48 hours, military junta will call them. And then later on, they said 24 hours. They will invited them, but nothing happened. That's why my father had, because nobody understands my father's political ideology.
Okay, but
but that also not because he wanted to get the power, because that for the next coming generation, and even including Aung San Suu Kyi. Aung San Suu Kyi was the first priority in my father's mind, because General Aung San was his very close associate.
Yes. So this is the last question about your father before we are going to discuss about other matters in your country. What are the mistakes do you think that your father has made during his time as the Prime Minister?
Everyone, everyone, whoever works very hard for his country or for anyone, then they maybe made mistakes. So I don't think that what my father did in any sphere,
Right.
he didn't make any kind of mistakes, because he was very hardworking person. And then after independence also, there were lots of this rebels, all over the country. And at that time also, he fought very bravely to
Okay.
overcome the.
But he trusted General Nevin.
You can't blame, only to my father, because at that time, yes, he trusted General Nguyen, because General Nguyen was also in part of their, movement during British days. So,
Correct.
he trusted naturally.
So now tell me about the situation in Burma. And Burma's held the first democratic elections in some 10 years ago, 2010. And what is your opinion? How far the newly elected government is succeeded? What are the pros and cons in the ruling government?
Right now, we still do not have this peace conference, peace talk still going on. And then in between, the present government, they could not overcome the peace process. And then because there are lots of things, and then moreover, from the government side and from the military side also, they were not come into terms. So this is also the very important, because only after they agree to each other, then this peace process can gradually come into exist.
Right.
One of the founding member of Democratic parties. How powerful you are in the country now?
Our party is very small party. Now we have altogether 97 parties, and among 97 parties, only 2 parties are very strong and very powerful, and then they have this full funding. So the rest are very small parties, but all of us work very hard, not to gain power, but for the betterment of the people, and especially for the peace. Because without peace also, we can't do anything in our country.
Right.
Peace is.
Though no, as you know, there were many crimes in last few decades in Burma. I don't want to just talk about only one ethnic group, but many people belong to many ethnic groups were killed. Is there any national mechanism to address to those crimes?
This is also the matter of the teamwork also. If you rule the country, you can't work alone. As I've mentioned about the teamwork also, you have to work with your team, with your people together, and then you have to see what are the basic mistakes.
Even the leader, which we had so much of hope, Aung San Suu Kyi is not doing up to the standard. Do you say?
That is very good question, but in every country, I think it is what we want is like I read about one educationist, and he said that in a country we don't need a superstar, we need all the stars to be twinkle. So we have to work together, and then that person also should be pragmatic, and then you have to go in basically you have to go what is going wrong with the problem. If you are just a superstar, then it will not work.
But Aung San Suu Kyi clearly said action will be taken against all people regardless of their religion, race and political position who go against the law of the land and violate human rights. and she has clearly mentioned in many times the importance of rule of law, strengthening the criminal justice system in the country, and so on. But by reading her statements or by listening her speech, one cannot deny that she has sort of sincerity towards what really Burma want.
If you think so,
No,
then
I'm
it's
asking
okay.
you because thing is, I'm an outsider. I have met you in Burma in this in your home once, and we had a lengthy discussions about your father and the history and the future, as well as the present situation. But I'm concerned about now the present situation. What do you think about her?
Do you think about it?
But frankly speaking, I don't want to blame, as before, I don't want to blame to only to one person. But frankly speaking, our law and order situation has become worse.
So, before we are going to end this interview, I want to know about your plan for the forthcoming elections. The commission has been announced that the election will be held in next November, and then how far your party is ready for the elections, and what is the ground situation in Myanmar?
This time, I just want to motivate my people. My people means the party men, party members. To run in the elections.
Okay.
I just want to motivate them. And then now we are working for that also. Especially, we want to see the new generation and the middle-aged people, not the very old.
Davno, it is an honor to have you. Thank you so much for joining us, and stay safe and well.
And also thank you very much for remembering me.